That's me.
Well, now we just decided, so go take a shot.
Now this one's nice and juicy. So Jeffrey would work. Juicy Jeffrey we could be.
We get extra credit for putting that on the test.
Hmm?
Juicy Jeffrey.
Juicy Jeffrey.
Yes, I say y'all all put this on YouTube. Dr. Elrod's.
Juicy Jeffrey.
Okay, we're getting in there now. What I've cut through right here is thoracic cavity and abdominal cavity. And this is the diaphragm right here. Okay? Y'all see that membrane right here between my fingers? This is the diaphragm, muscular diaphragm, so that's what separates abdominal cavity from our thoracic cavity and the heart cavity and that kind of stuff. So as I keep pulling on this, I'm going to keep ripping the diaphragm. Okay? So, but y'all all see what we're talking about, right? We'll try not to rip it too much. Okay, so we're getting in here. A little bit further down. Come on up. Okay. So one of the first things that I can see when I open this up like this, okay, is I see a bunch of fatty tissue right here. Y'all see that? See all this? This is the greater omentum. This is that apron of fat that we have that lays on the surface of our abdominal muscles, right underneath them. Okay, right underneath the abdominal muscles. So y'all have seen somebody that is enormously fat. They have that big apron that goes way over and tucks back around. That's what all this fat that's in here.
What's it called?
Okay. The greater omentum. Okay, and it's basically a protective fatty deposit over the surface of our organs. So it actually protects a lot. Okay, so I'm very well suited for car wrecks and that kind of stuff because I can take an impact here. Okay? So, I'm going to get rid of it. Okay? So, now we've gotten the greater omentum out of the way, and I can see down into the small intestines. Okay? I'm just going to kind of pull that out of the way. There's some other omentums and that kind of stuff, but I'm not too worried about those. Let me drain some of this out. Okay, when I look up here, one of the biggest organs that I can see right here is the liver. This is the liver. Okay, so if we move up here, here are the lobes of the lung. On this side, we've got the 3 lobes here. 1, 2, 3. On this side, here's the heart. Notice that it's male, so it has a big heart, not a cold black heart like the females would have. Over here is the other lobes of the lung, right?
Can you move your hand a little bit?
Sure.
Okay.
Is that just dye, the blue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this has been stained where blue represents the veins and red will represent arteries. Okay, so here's our diaphragm. Okay, got both hands on the diaphragm. Above that, I've got the lobes of the right side lung here. 1, 2, 3. Then I've got the left side. 1, 2 here. Little third one down below here. If we go on up here, we can cut in and we can see the trachea and the esophagus. So I've made my cut like that. You see this big open circle? This is the trachea that I'm pulling out right now and separating. So that's the trachea. You can see the C-ring cartilage in it. Okay? That's the trachea. Underneath the trachea is the esophagus. So that is this muscular tube under here. Okay? So as we follow this down, right underneath that, see the muscular tube right there? That is our esophagus, or the cat's esophagus, not really our esophagus.
Where is it? The little, oh, that thing, okay.
Yeah.
It's a small smaller than the trachea?
Well, it's more collapsed than the trachea.
Okay.
So the esophagus is more collapsed than the trachea?
Yes, because it's smooth muscle, where the trachea, the job is to just, so there's the esophagus there. Okay, so I got them both now. Trachea in my right hand, esophagus under my finger, or over my finger. Okay, so the esophagus makes its way down, trachea into the lungs. So really for the respiratory system, we've got the trachea. I can't even see where the bronchi branch, so just know the trachea and the lungs for the respiratory system. Be real easy, right? We've got other things to know on other models. This makes me hungry.
I was thinking Chinese food, but
Okay. So when I look, we said all this was the liver, right? All this guy right here is the liver. Different lobes of the liver. When I pull up under, I should be able to find this green guy in here, and that is the gallbladder. Little sac, okay, right there, that's our gallbladder. Can y'all see that over there? No? Right in there?
Got it. That green thing?
Mhm. Green little, looks like an English pea to me. Okay?
Is it always green?
Oh, where's it at? Now I can actually see.
I can't do it right
Is
there.
it green for
It's
the
that, it's
bile?
the
Uh-huh,
inside.
green for the bowel, right in there.
Greenish.
Green for the gallbladder. Okay? Underneath the liver is going to be the stomach. So this big guy right here, we'll have to separate this omentum off of it. Okay? So this big C-shaped organ, this is the stomach, right? Right underneath the liver. Okay? If we go over here, we can find the spleen right here. It looks like a tongue. So that leathery piece right there is the spleen.
On your right hand?
Yeah, this guy right here.
Oh, it's just, okay.
Big guy.
Oh.
Okay? So all that spleen. So you know how the large intestine has the hepatic and the splenic flexure? Okay, so when it goes up, comes around and down, because the spleen's over here, that's the splenic flexure. Because the liver's over here, that's the hepatic flexure. Okay? So if I were to crawl in here a little bit further and dig in here, I could come up with the esophagus. So see this part right here? Coming through the diaphragm, that is the esophagus leading into the stomach. Get these really nasty. These boxes are going to be... Y'all don't touch these boxes for a while. So number 5, okay, if I were poking number 5 and I put it right there, that would be the esophagus coming in. Okay?
Just plain old esophagus.
Plain old esophagus coming in. And then there is a little sphincter there between the esophagus and the stomach that we call the... What kind of sphincter?
The
cardiac.
Cardiac sphincter. Some people call it the esophageal sphincter, which I don't like as well. But so here's the stomach. Well, I don't know that I could count it wrong. I tried, but I don't know if I could. Okay, so here's that omentum that we're taking off, and y'all can really see down into the intestines now. Okay, so from the stomach, we have the different parts of the stomach, and the different parts of the stomach, and y'all can see this green guy right here coming down. That would be our common bile duct making its way down into the small intestine. Okay. See the green guy right there?
Okay.
Keep my fingers out of the way. So you see it right there. Pretty good view of it right there.
Okay.
Okay. So, upper part of the stomach is the cardia around it, right? And then the fundus over here, and then the body of the stomach, and then as we're about to enter into the small intestine, we hit the pylorus. So if you run your hand and you feel right there, you feel this sphincter. Okay, right there. It's a muscular sphincter where it's closed off. So that is the pyloric sphincter. Okay, then we enter into the first part of the small intestine, which is the duodenum. So we'll make us a little cut here so we can get in here to it. All right, and we've got a few inches that are the duodenum. So right in here is duodenum. Okay, right off. And then we're gradually going to get into the second part, which is the jejunum. Okay, so this down in here, this upper part is jejunum, and then we're going to make our way down. Unwrap it some more.
How much of that was the how long is the jejunum?
It's longer than the duodenum, but not as long as the ileum. So we're talking, in the cat, maybe a foot. Okay. Let me see. Get oriented here. So here's large intestine. Here's the large intestine. Okay, found it. Here's the small intestine. This would definitely be the ileum because it is going to dump into this large intestine right here. See how much bigger this guy is? What's the bottom part of the large intestine below where the ileum attaches? What do we call that structure, that little sac-like structure?
The cecum?
The cecum. That is the cecum. Now, we would have an appendix coming off right here. Okay? Cat being the meat eater. Okay? Not that big of a deal. They don't have a true appendix. So this is the cecum. And then it's going to make its way up. So this is going to be the ascending colon. It's going to make its way across, which is the transverse colon. It's going to make its way down, which is the descending colon. It's going to make that little S curve like we've seen in the humans. That's the sigmoid colon. And then the rectum is going to be down in here. Okay? You see on this one, this is the bladder, and this is a male cat, so here's the bladder.
Is a small white piece in your thumb part of it?
I think that's just fat.
Okay, it's
Okay?
hanging off.
Yeah, but this is the bladder here. Okay? I was trying to see if this was his scrotum, but I think it's just fat. Okay? So, if we work from the back, anus is here, right? Rectum is found in the pelvic cavity, okay, between the two pelvic bones and that kind of stuff, or os coxa. Rectum, so down in here, rectum, then we've got the sigmoid colon, descending, because I'm going backwards, descending, transverse, ascending. Here where the small intestine meets the large intestine, that valve here, again, if you feel right there, you feel this smooth muscle knot. That is the ileocecal valve, okay, between the small intestine and the large intestine. Okay, so then we've got ileum. So if I wanted the ileum, I'm not trying to make it this more difficult than it is. I'm going to stick something pretty dang close to this large intestine, right? So y'all would be okay with a pin, something like this, if y'all could see that this is the large intestine. This has to be the ileum. Same thing with the duodenum. I'm going to be up here close to the stomach. Okay, so here's my stomach. So if I wanted the duodenum, I'm going to be here. So if you find some stuff that's way out here, over in here, that's the jejunum. Okay? So the first part, duodenum. The last part, ileum. The middle part, we're going to call the jejunum. And just be done with it. That makes it easy. Okay? Stomach, the different parts of the stomach we talked about. We have the esophagus coming in here. Okay? We've got the gallbladder here, that green sac. Right here. Okay. Green sac. All this is liver. Here is the diaphragm. Now there is a structure called the falciform ligament that separates down like this, separates the liver into the right and the left side, and attaches to, so y'all see this connective tissue that I've got in my finger right? That's called the falciform ligament.
Oh, what?
This right here, the falciform ligament. It's what separates the liver into the two different sides, left and right, and attaches to the diaphragm. Okay? So that's it right there. Then we move up, we've got the lungs, we've got the trachea, we've got the esophagus, spleen, got the spleen, okay, here's the spleen. Pancreas, need to give you the pancreas. Pancreas is over here by the spleen, and it is, looks kind of like, make sure I didn't pull it out when I was doing that. Sometimes you do. Here it is under the spleen. So this is the pancreas here. Look at there. See all this right here? This is all pancreas. So spleen looks like the tongue. To me it looks just like a tongue for some reason. And then, kind of underneath it and between it and the stomach is our pancreas. There's a lobe of the
Gene
pancreas.
Simmons' tongue, maybe.
So, common bile duct is this guy coming down. You'll see that green right there? That's it making its way down and going to join with the pancreatic secretions, pancreatic duct, before it dumps into the duodenum. Okay? I think that's it. So if y'all want to explore around in here, there's some gloves back here.
You good.
We'll leave that to you.
That's
What
fine.
is this called, Grady?
This was the greater omentum. This was what was laying on the surface of everything.
We have to know what that is.
Yeah. You got to know it on the human model too.
The tendon that separates the lobes of the liver, is that also on the human?
Falciform ligament.